In this video, we are going to explain two types of leadership, traditional versus contemporary. We're going to discuss why it's important for you to know your style as a programmer or software engineer, and then discuss why it's important to understand your employer's leadership style so that those two can align properly. And we're going to do all this to take your programming career to the next level. On this channel, we sharpen our coding skills and discuss strategies for growth as an all-around programmer. Together, we discuss topics such as these three: creating value-driven content on YouTube to build a portfolio of experience for a resume, organizing the basics of coding to become an effective programmer, and ideas for how to stand out as a programmer. So, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Do you guys ever ask why? One of these questions probably comes to mind. Why do they do it that way? Why don't they listen to what I have to say? Or I don't understand why. It's why? Well, that can be a problem. It does nothing and it serves no one in the end. It isn't a solution-based mindset. It is actually a problem mindset and getting locked into problems instead of solutions. So it's really, at its core, just a misalignment of leadership styles. And it's important to note that we're going to discuss the traditional and contemporary leadership styles here, but one is not good and the other bad. They both have their strong points when done correctly. How do we get aligned with the traditional or the contemporary leadership style? How do we get aligned within ourselves in order to get aligned in our business with our employers? So let's take a look at the two styles, traditional versus contemporary. Traditional looks like this. It's a pyramid. Traditional is more about dictate. Traditional models dictate from the top down to the bottom. They are a single person or a group of people at the top that tend to make the decisions and then dictate to each level all the way down to the bottom until the problem is solved or what they're trying to accomplish gets accomplished. They gather feedback as they see things working or not working. They don't really gain a whole lot of feedback from the bottom working its way back up. It's more, did their decision work or did their decision not work? And then they adjust and dictate back down the pyramid what needs to be done in order to continue to make adjustments. Again, this doesn't make it right and it doesn't make it wrong. When done well, traditional businesses have lasted for decades, hundreds of years, how people run their business. So it obviously works, but not necessarily in all situations. And as we've been changing into a more technological environment, sometimes in order to move technology forward, the traditional mindset can be slow. It's not necessarily wrong, but it doesn't function as fast because there's very little feedback when problems arise in the way that we traditionally think. So let's move into contemporary. The contemporary takes that pyramid and flips it upside down. Picture this. The bottom of the pyramid is balancing point, and if it's not balanced, it falls over. You see that one way or the other. It'll just teeter around, and the point of contemporary is to find the balance that holds it into place. Hopefully that's making some sense for you. Now let's explain a little bit further. At the bottom, the person or people at the bottom have a vision in mind, and they align with other people who have that same vision or can buy into that vision and wanting to accomplish something. If you are a programmer, let's say you're trying to work on building an app, the person with the idea for the app builds a team that is on board with wanting to make that app come to fruition. They want to create that app as well. They have the knowledge, they have the background, and they have the tools necessary to make that happen. So they don't just tell people what to do, they rely on the people at the top to give feedback as to whether things are working, if they need more education, if they need better tools, different working environments, and then they make decisions to empower the needs of all the other layers, of all the other levels. And in doing so, they create that balance, okay? So it doesn't teeter, it stays nice and firm. Then the people that are at the top of this pyramid give feedback to the bottom so that they can make decisions to empower every layer and row. And it cycles back and forth, feedback over feedback, and can actually speed up the process of finding solutions through challenges. Let's discuss this just a little bit. And if you're getting some value out of this, hit the like button and leave some comments below as to what you're thinking. What's going on in your mind? Are you more traditional? Do you feel like maybe you're more contemporary? Do you align with the people that you work for now? Do you even align with yourself in this? Maybe you've never thought about yourself as being traditional or contemporary or even being a leader, but knowing that can help you communicate to others and see how others are communicating to you through that lens of, are you just dictating to others without gaining feedback, or are you looking to connect with the needs of others to gain feedback to make proper decisions moving forward? It can be very powerful. So let's talk about three things: efficiency, connective goals, and positivity. All right, those three things together, I think, are right now the most important things to think about when it comes to the traditional versus the contemporary style of leadership. So efficiency. How efficient are you? When it comes to wanting to be efficient as a programmer, you don't want to get caught up in problems. You want to be able to solve issues quickly. If you are traditionally geared, you're probably the one that feels like you have to find the solution. You have to be the only one. And if you find that solution, you will dictate to others what the solution is. But if you are more contemporary, you're going to go, hey, I have a problem. We need to find a solution. The key word there is we. And you seek out other programmers, your team, and say, hey, what do you guys think? I feel like I'm missing something here. And without judgment, everyone puts their minds together to give feedback to empower that person to overcome and solve that problem. Now that you have an answer and a direction from everyone else and your own direction, you then step forward and make the solution come into reality, which brings me to connective goals. If you're by yourself, you have goals in mind. If you are with a team, your team has goals in mind. And if you are more connective with the people that are around you to help get those goals to actually happen, in that connective way, you will speed that process up. Efficiency ends up happening and your goals happen faster. This is why technology just explodes all the time. It's one app after another becomes another app, becomes another. Apps become better apps. Databases grow into bigger databases. Editors for videos, they just constantly increase. It's not because one person is sitting behind the scenes just dictating to everyone what to do. It's because everyone is putting information in and taking feedback, creating solutions at a very rapid pace because we're talking to each other. As a little side, think of global scale. Just let that sit there for a moment. On a global scale, we need to learn to communicate with each other and work with each other and really gather positive feedback to build and create technologies that will protect and save our planet. If we don't work in that way, we don't work together, we may eventually get there through a lot of trial and a lot of error, but it's going to be a slower process. And we've already seen a lot of processes in the last decade just go so much faster because we've been willing to listen to other cultures, other people in different countries, nations, other backgrounds, other programming scenarios. We've been listening to each other, gathering that feedback, and really expediting those processes because of making our goals connected. So being efficient and connecting our goals is very powerful. Let's add positivity. Negativity gets us nowhere. Does it exist? Absolutely. It's a part of life. As humans, we lean towards negativity. We get bombarded with challenges and struggles all the time. But what if we viewed them more as challenges? What if we viewed them in ways that has a positive twist? So that when we're communicating to our team, when we're trying to build these apps, when we're trying to work with computer code, we're trying to work with Java, maybe you're working with Microsoft, if you think in a more positive tone, especially when dealing with traditional versus contemporary, things are going to go a lot smoother. You're going to be able to get the answers and the feedback that you need in order to move forward. And that is huge. So being positive actually creates efficiency, which ends up speeding up your connective goals. Hopefully this is making some sense to you. To align with something more contemporary can be challenging. So it starts with you. That's where all of this begins. When you understand how you function, let's say you function in a traditional mindset, and you find a business, a company to work for that also has a traditional mindset, you both align. You're going to move a lot smoother. Are things maybe going to be a little slower? I believe so. But they're going to move because you align. There won't be all these trials and negativity and misconnectiveness, inefficiency happening because you align. Contemporary. If you think in terms of a contemporary leadership and you work for someone who is also a little bit more aligned with contemporary thought processes, you're going to align. And those processes are going to be more efficient. Your goals are going to be more connective, and coupled with all the positivity in your words and how you communicate is going to speed up the processes of all of your goals and get you both where you want to go. Now here's the fun part. Let's say you're traditional, you work for someone who's contemporary. You find yourself misaligning, like you just can't quite, because you want to dictate, but they want feedback and empowerment, but yet you just want to dictate. Here's what you do. You either move to another job, or you say this more powerfully, which makes you a more powerful leader. You recognize and accept that they are contemporary while you are traditional. And you learn to sometimes set your traditional just a little bit of aside and work within their confines. Because as a whole, you will only stop and slow processes if you're not aligning. Now, this doesn't mean you need to become contemporary unless you see the value in it. But it does mean that you can learn to work with others who are different than you. Ooh, that should have just landed it right here in your brain and right here in your heart just a little bit. Well, let's flip that. Let's say you have a more contemporary thought process and you are always, why this, why that, why don't they listen to me? Why do they do things this way? Why? If you say, oh, Oh, I see now. I just have a more contemporary leadership mindset. They're much more traditional. They just want to dictate to me and they just want me to do. You can actually just sort of put your contemporary thought processes aside and save them. Save them for a proper time and start working within the traditional platform. And what you'll find is every once in a while you can sort of slip your contemporary thought process in, but it's going to stop the negativity of the why all the time. So knowing who you are as a leader, knowing who you work for as a leader, and figuring out how to align them and connect them will make you a stronger leader and move things forward much, much faster. So in this video, we've really looked at the traditional leadership style and the contemporary leadership style. And hopefully this has helped you as a programmer, as a software engineer, to maybe retool and just rethink, align who you are with the company you work for or want to work for, because it will make things more efficient in your life. It'll make it easier to connect and gather up your goals on a more regular basis. Coupling in some of those positivity mindsets and thoughts can really just make things pop, make your life go way smoother, and really build your career faster, taking your programming career to the next level. So if you would like to know how to be a stronger programmer, programming leader, and you want to thrive in empowerment because you just feel that's your bread and butter, leave a comment down below. Let's connect. Let me get some feedback from you guys so that I can find ways to help you out. I stem from a more contemporary thought process. I want to find ways to meet your needs. So another question, what are the challenges you face as a leader? Leave that down in the comments below. I'm actually going to pin that question in the comments because that's super important to bring clarity for you in how you think about that question and to give me some feedback so that I can help you guys in future videos. So thanks for watching. Now go code, and I'll see you next time.